everyone, and welcome to the 34th episode of Nina and Knitting. My name is Nina, and I live in Jyväskylä in central Finland with my husband and our two kids, one of which is right next to me, really bugging me, and our dog. And I'm not on Instagram, but you can find me on Ravelry as Ninima. And I really wanted to record earlier, at least last week, but life. So that's why I'm really trying to do it today. I have a couple of bits that I've done before, but like I told you last time, the kids are in their summer vacation, and that's why we're here all. And actually at the moment, I'm just alone with our daughter, so that's why she's with me and not with her brother, which is usually the way I take the dog for a walk. So things have been pretty busy and crazy, and I'm just trying to get it done today. I have 4 finished objects and 2 new whips, and I'm gonna show them to you in little bits and pieces, and let's see how this goes. My first finished object today is a shawl that I made for a cousin of mine. And it looks like this. So it's an asymmetric triangular shawl. The pattern is called Terraform by Cheri McEwan, and it's a free pattern of Ravelry. The yarn I used here is from the Little French Meadow, and it's their Marcidi fingering weight yarn, and the colorway is called Chocolate Orange, and I used my 4.0 millimeter child blue red lace needles, and that's US size 6. And this shawl started from this part here, where you have these stripes, and then you have a little different stripes, like on a tiger or something, and then you have these stripes that are just one row wide, and then there are other kinds of stripes and some pooling and all kinds of different fun stuff going on because of the yarn, and I really think it looks pretty fun. This pattern is really super simple. There's just knitting and purling, and actually the way I did it, on the wrong side, there's this garter ridge here, garter panel or something, on one edge of the shawl. So when you start the wrong side, you knit 3 and then you purl. And yeah, I could have knit here on this column, but I just wanted something really mindless to knit, and that's why when I had knit the 3 first stitches, I then just purled the rest of the row. And I think it looks pretty fun on the right side, because it's not a garter. It is a garter sort of column here. On the places where I haven't dropped the stitch, which was what the pattern suggested you could do. So you could either drop a stitch as you were binding off here, you either dropped a stitch or then you left it, and then you'd have a little bit of different part in this column. And I just decided to drop a stitch here after like the second column, and then I had the third, and then the second, and then the third, and so forth. And I think it looks pretty fun like this. And the way you use this shawl, of course, you can either just wrap it, I'm gonna see how it goes with this mic, either like this, like you would a sort of normal triangular shawl, or because it's asymmetric, so you could sort of have it a little more on one of the shoulders. I don't know. Anyway, this is for a cousin of mine. She's turning 40 this year, a little later this month, and I decided that I want to knit her a shawl on that occasion. And I think that this color is just really, really a lot of fun. And because this shawl is nothing too fancy, I'm pretty sure she will actually wear it. Because if it were too lacy or something, then I don't know how much wear she would have gotten out of it. But yeah, totally recommend it. Very, very easy to knit. And like I said, it's a free pattern or Ravelry, so if you're looking for an easy shawl to knit, I used almost all of the skein when I knit this. So it's almost 100 grams of fingering weight yarn. A lot of fun. And then my second finished object is a pair of socks. It's my first pair of Cookie A socks. So this pattern is called Herrera, and I think it's a sort of a plant or something. The picture that is shown in the pattern, I have the book, but you can also find the same pattern on Ravelry as a separate pattern. Yeah, it's green. Those socks are really, really beautiful. But I was just trying to find something to knit for my niece, who has her birthday. She's turning 8, and like I said, I had never knit a Cookie A pattern before, so I just was flipping through the book, and then the stitch count sort of matched with the size of foot I was looking for. So this is the size extra small in the book, although I have sort of modified it a little bit so that the ribbing isn't as long as in the pattern, I think. The cuff most definitely isn't. It's a lot shorter, and then the foot itself is something to fit an 8-year-old, so that's European size 33 or 34. And the yarn I used here is Kaupunkilanka Keskustori. It's the same yarn I used in the trapeze artist socks that I just finished a couple of episodes ago, something. But yeah, this is how it looks as vanilla or in stockinette. But yeah, I know it sort of doesn't show this pattern too well, but it's a little bit of something. And on the other hand, I was really glad that I was knitting a children's sock when I was doing this pattern, because it's a 4-row repeat, and even doing this cuff, even this short, I was getting really really bored. So yeah, I mean, it's beautiful, but it's very monotonous, and I usually go for something a little more exciting when I'm knitting socks. So yeah, and then this size extra small, there are these charts in the pattern on how you will sort of place these columns of the motif. I just couldn't figure it out. Really, I was trying to read it and look at the pictures, and I just didn't get it. But then I just decided to do the way I thought that would, be okay. So yeah, I'm pretty happy that these are done, and I'll be giving them to my niece in just a little while. So yay, second finished object. My third finished object is a pair of baby verses. If you've seen my podcast before, you will have seen quite a few of these, but if you haven't, this is a pattern that I found on a Facebook group in the group files, and I'll have to put the designer's name on the screen because I can't remember. But yeah, it's just a cute little pattern of baby boots with a crocheted sole and just a crocheted little thing here on the sides. I made a partridge heel here, which is not in the pattern, but yeah, because it's for a baby girl. And they're really cute. A friend of mine asked me if I could knit her a pair so that she could send it to a friend of hers, and so I did. Okay, I'm back indoors. It was really difficult to try and get a little bit of peace and quiet when I was outside because the weather's been really nice, really warm. Everybody's out, so yeah, I'm gonna do the rest of what I'm doing today here indoors. As you can see, I'm in my daughter's bedroom, so yeah, she's a big fan of the Paw Patrol. Yeah, so there'll be 2 video clips, one of which I will have already put in the intro, and then another one that I'll put right in at the end of this episode. They're just some video that I took from very close to where I live. So there's this lake really close on my right here, and then there's a really nice park they've made just I think a year or 2 ago. So just 2 short videos of those 2 places. At my last finished object, finished object number 3, is quite an old web, something that I started last August. Yeah, last August, I think. And we had this development day at work, and I started knitting a shawl, and then I just didn't continue because I had, Christmas presents to knit and, this and that and the other. But now I picked it up and it's finished. So the pattern is called Aurora Borealis by Stella Egidi. And let's see, this is how far I got last August. So this is my progress keeper from there. I'm using 2 different yarns here. This black here is sukkalapuffa. Sukkapuffa. I have the tag here. So the black one is sukkapuffa säihky. Yeah, and as you can see, the colorway name is Heavy Metal Show, and this is a fingering white yarn, 75% merino, 20% polyamide, and 5% stellina. And yeah, so this is the black one, and then the green is from Lanidium Ex Machina glitter sock. The colorway is called Alice in Wonderland. How long is forever, right? Yeah, and it's 70% super merino, 25% nylon, and 5% stellina. And yeah, Aurora Borealis means northern lights, blood for northern lights. So the way I thought about it is that these green ones are the northern lights, and this black with stellina, it's silver stellina, but I don't think it'll show on camera. Not really, no. Anyway, it's silver stellina, and I sort of figured that this is the dark night sky with the stellina as the stars, and then the green Lanidium Ex Machina yarn is the northern lights. And I did this, well, the first part, I think, as far as this, I think, is just the colors were just I changed color whenever I felt like it. But then from I think this point on, there was instructions in the pattern on how you could use different yarns, and I think this is amazing. And well, if I had read the pattern, the instructions from the beginning till the end before I started knitting it, I would have noticed that there was this instruction, or there was this little note somewhere towards the end that if you wanted to have these nice color changes throughout the whole shawl, you could have made these like part A with the instructions of part, I don't know, F or something. I don't remember. But yeah, so you could have sort of gotten this effect right from the start. But of course, I hadn't read the instructions. I just started knitting it. And in a way, it was easy for me to do at the development day like that. So I didn't have to look at the instructions too much. And well, to tell you the truth, I wasn't paying attention to the instructions all of the time anyway, so there are some mistakes in here, I'm sure. But you know, it's just me being inattentive or something, whatever. Anyway, so you knit this shawl, and then right at the end you bound it off, but then you kept the one stitch and you started doing this crab stitch along the edge of the shawl, and I think it looks pretty nice, and it gives a nice little extra to the whole shawl. I think this looks pretty fun. I'm not sure how to wear it, and I'm contemplating on giving it to somebody who has their birthday, but we'll see. I'll just have to wait and see. Let's see if I can put it on. I don't know. Let's see if I can get up a little. I know that the lighting in here is not perfect, but I didn't want to switch on the electric light because they'll really like ruin everything. But yeah, this is really warm. And now I know that my mic is down here. Let's see if you can hear anything. Yeah, you could wear it like this. Right, so you could wear it like that or some other way, I think. But it was a fun shawl to knit. And I have one whip less now, and I'm really, really happy about that. But yeah, that was my last finished object today. And my first whip is actually my first cast on after last episode. But then I had some other projects that needed to be completed before this first one. It's living in my project bag that I sewed some this spring anyway, and it's really big. It's not far from being finished, but well, there's a but. This is I'm gonna have to see. This is Greenhouse Knits number 6 by Alfa Knits. So it's from I think number 6 is the last one in that sort of series of patterns. I only bought this one, and in the original pattern, this Alfa Knits is something that I have found in a Finnish podcast. We talked about this project or this pattern in her podcast, I think maybe a year ago. So Tui has Tuin Putomo podcast with Laika. Anyway, in the original pattern, this is all in green, and it looks really nice, and these are leaves. But the yarn I used here is, oh wow, the colors are going crazy because of the color of the yarn. But the yarn I'm using is Louhittaren Luola or Knitloop's Layer Kuutar in a colorway called Mango. And Kuutar is 50% superwash merino and 50% bamboo, 400 meters in 100 grams. So it's a fingering weight yarn. And I'm gonna hold it up again, and the colors are gonna go wild. But yeah, I'm really loving the color, and because of this color, it makes me like, it makes me think about wheat, or I don't know, other cereals, and I think this is just so pretty. And so I'm actually sort of where the armholes are gonna go. There's this small opening in the front, and there'll be a button here, up here. And oops, stitch. So I've been knitting this right front part, and you use short rows and whatever, and there are a lot of instructions, and I've been really trying to pay attention to the pattern, and I've been making been marking the pattern because I have it printed out, and just everything, trying to make sure that I'll get it right. And I'm actually at a point where the pattern says that you won't have any stitches, or only just one stitch between this part, sort of for the neckline, and the raglan shapings, or whatever they are, for the armhole or the sleeves. And as you can see, I have quite a few stitches between these parts. And the markers here are because after I had gone or read to the point where the pattern says that, okay, you'll only have one or no stitches between these parts. And I was like, what? I have a lot more. And then I just, counted the rows that I've made, and it sort of makes, if it's right, the number of rows is right. I really don't know where I've gone wrong. So I must have made a mistake somewhere. I was reading the notes from people who've knit this tunic or this t-shirt before, and nobody had mentioned anything. So yes, I'm sure that it's me, but I just couldn't find it. So I tried to, I left a note for the designer this morning, but last time I checked, I hadn't received any response from her. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this will fix it, and we'll be able to, or I'll be able to finish the shirt. But I just don't know what I've done. But it's not right. It's not right, and I know that I'll have to correct it. But either I'll just continue doing the decreases, and eventually I'll hit the point where sort of the raglans and the neckline meet, and it'll be fine. But the thing is that if I do it on this side, I'll have to make notes and be sure that I do it the same way on the left side also, and it'll probably have some impact on the back of the shirt too. So for now, this is taking a break. This shirt is taking a break, although I love it. I really love this. The fabric here is just wonderful. I'm really loving it, and after I block this, it'll be just so very pretty. I bought 3 skeins of this yarn, so that's 1200 meters. It should be enough for this shirt, and I'm pretty convinced that it will be. I'm on the 3rd third skein now, third yarn ball. But I'm confident, pretty confident that it'll be all right. For the skeins, I had a lot of problems winding the skeins into yarn balls. This one is something that I have hand wound. The circumference of the skein is a lot greater than what my Swift can take it away. I have this, I think it's called Amish type Swifts. So it's not the sort of umbrella type where you can just get wider and wider. It's the type where you have these wooden pieces and then they're holes. And then you have these sticks that you stick in the holes and then you put the skein around them. And I put the sticks on the very end of each of these wooden pieces, and it still was way too small for the skein and for the the circumference of the skein. And I was like, oh my goodness. And yes, I did try to use my ball winder for the two first skeins. The second one I was able to manage to get it pretty okay. The first one just got into a very terrible tangled mess when I started to knit it. So I actually had to redo it by hand at one point. And this third one, when I opened it, and this third one, when I opened it and I tried to stretch it on the Swift, well, I could see that there were some of the yarns that really didn't look right, but I just couldn't find what to do to have it like sitting as nicely as I could in my small Swift. But anyway, it was badly tangled, so I had to do it by hand. And every now and then I had to try and figure out some twisted yarns, and it took me a lot of patience to get it done. And I don't think it's because of the dyer. Who would want to do something like that to another person? No, it's just it was just something that had happened. But oh my god, it took a lot of time. I started to wind it into a ball. I've been watching soccer because there's world championships are going, and I was at my mom's last week and she watches sports quite a bit. So we got into watching the games at her place, and so I sort of continued it here at home. And so I started to wind the last skein on a ball at the sort of beginning of the first half of the soccer game. And it's like 45 minutes times 2, and then there is a 10-minute pause in between halves. It took me the whole game to get it into a ball. Yes, so I was counting and I was just trying to breathe in, breathe out, and just, calm down. You'll get this done. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so it was not pleasant, but I've really loved knitting this, and I'm really anxious to getting this ready It's really pretty, and I'm sure that I'll wear it a lot when I get to it. Oh, at this point I'm just getting impatient to finish it. But oh my goodness, it's so pretty, and the color is just amazing. Actually, on the screen it looks kind of stripy and pooling and everything. When I look at it like this, it doesn't really. I mean, yeah, it's semi-solid. It's not solid in any way, but it looks more stripy on the screen than it does in here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's really, really pretty anyway. Right, so that's the knitting that I got done yesterday when I was watching football. I was soccer, as the Americans would call it. But you know, I was watching podcasts on YouTube and staying up late knitting after I had gotten the little Miss 5-year-old to bed. I just really needed some alone time because, like I mentioned in the beginning, I've been alone with the kids, and I love my kids. They're wonderful, but yeah, I really enjoy it when they've gone to bed. Right. So since I stumbled into some problem with the t-shirt, I had to start something new this morning. I had seen a friend's Facebook post. She had made a note for herself that there was this crochet pattern that she wanted to try, and it looked really fun, and so I had to try too. So it's from a blog, silumukoita.blogspot.com, and I'll put it on the screen. It's a translation, a Finnish translation with photos of a Swedish blog post. But this is what it is. So it's scarf, crocheted scarf with these skulls, or the sugar skulls, I don't know. Anyway, this is how far I got this morning and a little later today. And the yarn I use here is this 100% acrylic. It's just something that I had actually bought for something else. So this is Dora. Madame Tricot, Dora. So 100% acrylic, and the meterage about 250 meters per 100 grams. Anyway, it's just something, it's a black yarn I happen to have, and then I took this hook that I happen to have. It's 3.5 millimeter hook, and if I can find what it is in the letters, I'll put it on the screen. Anyway, that's what I've been doing today. It looks kind of fun, and it's all right while I'm waiting for some advice on the t-shirt. Yeah, that's just, I'm not, this is actually not my style, but I do have a friend in mind to whom I could give this when I finish it, but you know, it's just something to do. Pretty fun. Anyway, so those were my webs, and then I have a couple of purchases. No yarn at this time, but I did buy some needles while I was at my mom's last week. I knew that I wanted to get some more needles. I
seem to have lost my 4.0 millimeter DPNs. I have 2 sets, I know that I do, but for some reason I couldn't find either of them. And for the Novitas, it's Novitas, the yarn, I do need 4.0 millimeter needles. And so I went to the local yarn store in Järvenpää, which is called Lentavalapanen yarn store. It's really nice. And so I went and got me a set of 4.0 millimeter micro zings. So this is US size 6. I have a set of, I think, 3.0 millimeter zings already. I started using them in a pair of socks, and since the pair hasn't made any progress, that's where those needles are. But yeah, that's 3.0 millimeter and that's 4.0. And then I bought 2.5 millimeter Chagu lace, spread lace circs. That's US size 1.5, and this is 100 centimeters cable, so it's 40 inches, I think. That's what it says, yeah, 40 inches. So these are the 2 things that I bought after last episode. I haven't been buying a lot of stuff because I know that I will, which brings me to what's happening next on the next page of my notebook. Jyväskylä Knit Fest is coming up. It's next week. It's already next week. And I'll be there. I'll be working on Thursday and Friday mornings in the info desk or somewhere, I don't know, don't remember. Anyway, Thursday and Friday I'll be working there, and there's podcasters and podcast viewers meet on each day at 2 p.m. I'll try and go. We'll see. I will try and go there. And then on Saturday, I'm going to Sock-Matician's double knitting course. When they started selling the tickets, I was really in a pace. Oh, I want to get into that course, into Sock-Matician double knitting course. And so I just signed up for the first, like the beginner's course on Saturday, paid it, and oh yes, I'm in. And after a little while, I read the sort of a description of the course better, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I could have gone to the Sunday, like more advanced course. And I asked if I could switch it, but it wasn't possible. And I could have bought a ticket to the Sunday class and then try to sell mine for Saturday, but it's quite a bit of money. And I just figured that, okay, I'll just, serves me right to underestimate myself, because it's the Finnish way, and don't be too proud, and sort of don't overestimate yourself. And we Finns tend to underestimate whatever knowledges and skills we have. So that's just me underestimating what I could have done. Anyway, I'm going on Saturday. And what else? And of course there'll be vendors, yarn vendors. Probably buy something, because on Saturday next week, the Torvasok 2018 first stage is gonna start. And I haven't even looked at my stash yet. I don't know if I have yarns, the right kind of yarns. I have no idea if I have pearls or, well, enough pearl. I know I have pearls, but I don't know if I have enough pearls or beads. So I'm very well prepared. But, there's the US Granite Fest. I'm pretty sure I can find some yarn in there if I just can't find anything in my own stash. And that's why I bought the Shawl 2.5 millimeters, because I think I'm gonna try knitting a pair of socks in the 2.5 millimeter needles with the fingering weight yarn, because normally I use 3.0 millimeter, so that's US size 1, maybe. I'll correct it on the screen. When I knit, no, it's got to be 2.5, US size 2.5. When I knit fingering weight yarn. So I'm pretty sure that I'll try if there's a lace pattern, and I'm pretty sure that one of the patterns will be lace socks. I'll try these 2.5 millimeter needles for that. Maybe it'll be nicer, because last year and I think the year before that, most of the socks that I knit for or during the Tuhara sock have been too big for me, and I have my foot is European size 38. Don't know what it is in US, but maybe I'll find it. But anyway, I'm gonna try with those and see which kind of socks I end up with. And yeah, that's sort of what I have next or last thing on my notebook. The future projects, yes, socks. There'll be a lot of socks. I'm hoping, and from what I've heard from the test knitters for the Aurora sock, this year the patterns should be all more or less the sort of patterns that I can maybe knit. Last year I just failed on the last stage, and that was pretty not fun. But this year maybe I will be able to sit and make all the 6 pairs in the allotted time, but we'll see. So yeah, socks, and then the shirt, the shirt that I've just put on hold for a while. And yeah, the shawl or whatever scarf it'll be. Yeah, maybe that'll be ready by next episode. I don't know. And yeah, so who knows what else I start making while I wait for the next sock pattern to be released. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do in the coming weeks. And my Miss 5-year-old is getting very impatient, so I'm just gonna wrap it up. And I don't know when I'm gonna podcast next. I'm not a vlogger kind of person, so I'm sorry, but I don't think there'll be any vlog from the Jyväskylä Knit Fest. I know that there's a lot of there are a lot of podcasters who are gonna come, and you'll probably be able to see some footage from there, even if I don't. But yeah, next time you'll be seeing some Dora socks, I think. But until then, I hope you'll have a really nice and relaxing time with whatever you want to do. Until next time, Bye.